This podcast is sponsored by nobody.
Hey everybody, this is Kathy Podwell, Judy from Night of the Demons, and you are listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. He tells great jokes. He's a great guy.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back the beautiful, the talented, the sweet-natured Colene Wingfield. I just fucking love her. She's coming back on almost 6 months later. We are going to nerd out on more horror because there was a bunch of horror movies she forgot to mention the first time around that she wants to bring up again. And there's a bunch I forgot to mention that I want to bring up. And it's going to be great. You know, this is my second interview to kick off Halloween October. Yeah, you're probably wondering why this interview and the Daniel Holzman interview are my first interviews in over a week. Well, after the Betsy Brossard interview, which was fucking awesome, I decided to cancel the next interview because I found out the actor I was going to interview was toxic, arrogant, and rude. So I gave him an excuse, and he made no qualms about not coming on. So fuck him. And here we are into the future. Colene has two groups that she moderates on Facebook. Welcome to Whole House, and We Love Michelle Bauer. And she is just a freaking awesome person. I'm so glad that we're going to nerd out on horror again today. I just love her. Also, rest in peace, John Amos. James Evans Sr. on Good Times, the Norman Lear classic sitcom. And he was Cleo McDowell, the owner of McDowell's, in the Eddie Murphy classic movie Coming to America. It's a sad, sad loss. He died over a month ago, and they're finally talking about it now. And it's just sad. I mean, he's one of those guys that's always been there. Rest in peace, John Amos. So yeah, here is my new interview with Colene Wingfield. Colene, how the fuck are you? Welcome back.
Hey.
What's
I'm
up?
good. How are you?
I am fantastic. My dad's in town for a week. I'm just so happy. Really, really happy. And it's Halloween October.
I know. I'm so excited. It's my favorite time of year. I hate to see it end, though. It's like the month's going to fly by. I know it is. It'll be over before it starts.
It's okay. We celebrate Halloween year-round.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Your dad. How long has it been since you've seen your dad?
8 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I bet you are happy he's in town then.
Very happy. Yeah, he lives in Marysville, Washington, and he's worked a lot, and now he finally needs a vacation, so I'm so happy he's here.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Yes. So, after we did the last one back in, I think, April it was, you suddenly remembered so many horror movies that weren't brought up before. I hope you wrote them down because I'll tell you, I got a lot of them too.
Yeah. You know what? I think I wrote several down, but you know what? I think you may already mention these ones.
Which ones?
Because the ones I wrote down, I'm almost, because you're so much better. You obviously have a better memory than I do. And I started writing them down. I'm like, you know what? I think he's already mentioned those our last conversation.
Which ones?
So, the werewolf ones, the vampire ones, supernatural ones, everything. I started going over everything we talked about. And I completely forgot about double checking our last podcast. Like, which one did you mention? In the Company of Wolves. Didn't you mention that one already?
No, actually.
For the werewolf one?
That one would never have occurred to me. I think maybe you mentioned it.
Okay, I completely forgot about checking that, and then it was getting close to time for you to call, and I'm like, oh, well, we'll wing it again today, we'll be fine.
Yeah, so like here's, I want to bring up some obscure ones because I just think they're so underrated, and people like say they're shitty and whatnot, but I think they're good. Now in the Wolfman category, there's a one that came out in '79. I just chronicled it this summer with the director Worth Keeter. It was called Wolfman.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that one.
1979. Yep.
I think I seen. You know what? I remember watching that when I was a little older. I think I was 10 when I watched that one.
Yeah.
Even though it was as old, you know.
Yeah, it was PG, and like it took place in the South in the 1800s, but everyone's dressed like they're in Scotland Yard or something.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that was it. I'm almost positive because I remember some low budget films, and I know that was an old one we had watched. And I think I was around 10. I think. I know I was older, so.
Yeah, he told me that he did some makeup on some movies, and like that was one he came up with the makeup for that movie and stuff. Yeah, I guess he had to make sure that it wasn't close to the Lon Chaney Jr. Version, so he didn't get sued. But it was pretty effective. It was PG too, you know.
Yeah. But there's speaking of Wolfman, did you see there's a new one coming out?
No, I didn't. I'm not surprised though.
Yeah, I think it's called Wolfman. It's really creepy looking. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks really good. I think it doesn't come out till next year. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So somebody tagged me on it. Like, oh, that looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm always getting tags on horror films from people. So.
Yeah. There's another one, Death Screams. It was a slasher movie.
You know what? That sounds familiar too. I'm almost seeing the case of that movie in my head too.
Yes.
What was that one about?
It was about a carnival being terrorized by a killer, and
Yep.
Ricky Nelson's
That's the same one I'm thinking of.
Ricky Nelson's brother David directed it, and Worth, he worked on that movie too. He was a second unit director, and my favorite death in that movie. This girl, she gets out of her car and she gets stabbed in the back by the killer, and she runs off. And by the time she gets on the carousel, in which there's no one going on the carousel, it's just her, she runs out of blood and dies.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
That also made me think of the one, God, was it called Funhouse? Because I know there's another one out called Funhouse.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the 80s.
Toby Hooper.
Early 80s, right?
Yeah, Toby Hooper.
Yes. That one wasn't too bad with the creepy-looking thing living around that carnival or Funhouse or whatever it was.
Oh, God.
That one wasn't too bad.
I followed the guy who wrote that movie, Larry Block, on Instagram, and he was scheduled to go to Monsterpalooza the year that the pandemic started, and it ended up being canceled. But, like, he was always sending me DMs of shit that I didn't care about of his new work and stuff, and I was trying to get him on the podcast, and like he didn't believe I was a podcaster, so he was always making up these excuses, and then once he realized I was telling the truth, like he fucking blocked me.
Right. What? Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Why? That is so fucked up.
They do that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Some of those people can be so. There's some of them I won't even follow or send a friend request to because I've heard, and I shouldn't listen to rumors, but you can just kind of get an idea of what some people tell you about them's true.
Sometimes those rumors are true. Yeah.
Right. You just like seen them in like at cons and stuff like that. Like the video people share from their experience are like, oh, that person was a total dick. I wouldn't even. They're weird. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, they sound that way. So some of the people go pay for personally, I wouldn't even pay. I don't get it, but whatever. To each their own, right?
Right. Yeah.
That is insane. He blocked you. Wow.
Yeah, we've told those stories before. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy. Do you remember Blood Beach?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I do. I do remember that one.
Who do you think?
You're coming.
Yeah. Who do you think the killer is in the sand? Do you think it's a shark? Because I think it's a shark.
Yeah. That one. Wait, what year was that one?
1980.
Oh, what? Yeah, that has to be the one I'm thinking of. Yes.
Yeah.
That has to be the one. I'm really good about picturing images of like the cases because they still show the old school cases when you look movies up, and that one's popping in my head. I need to go back and watch a bunch of real low budget ones I didn't even like as a kid, just to laugh.
Well, it's funny. I tried to get the director of Blood Beach on, Jeffrey Bloom. He also directed Flowers. He also directed Flowers in the Attic years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I like that movie. Obviously, it was a book first, but yeah, that was a good movie.
But he said that he didn't like reflecting on the past. But he told me this. He said, I'll tell you this, Blood Beach was a pleasant experience. Flowers in the Attic was a horrendous nightmare I would never wish on my own worst enemy.
Right. The story or the filming it?
Making it, yeah. I can imagine.
Oh,
I can
okay.
imagine Christy Swanson being a bitch or something.
Right. All the actors in there just being dicks all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who did play the grandmother in that? I forget. I haven't watched that in a while.
Louise Fletcher.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Nurse
She looks
Ratched.
like maybe she's not. She might be nice in real life, but she definitely plays a good bitch.
She does, and when she won the Academy Award for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, she just showed the sweet person that she is. She did sign language for her deaf parents. It was wonderful.
Oh, see, I didn't see any of that.
It's on YouTube
and stuff like. I'll have to go back and check it out. I hate when somebody posts something on YouTube and it's like, have you had that experience yet where you'll go to look at something like an award ceremony, something from years ago, and that alone's clickbait just to get you to view something on their page.
Yeah.
Have you had that happen yet?
Oh yeah.
It's not even what you were looking for in the first place. That is so frustrating. Not to get off topic, but
they call that
YouTube.
they call that clickbait.
Yeah, you type in something random and it comes up, you're like, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Something from freaking 30 years ago and it's still clickbait. Like, seriously, dude.
Yeah. Do you remember the Boogeyman?
Yep, yes I do. I remember
Okay.
that one too. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I interviewed the producer who was the first victim in the movie. She's the mother of the killer in the flashback at the beginning of the movie. I told her, I said, I know you probably hear this a lot, but you have very nice feet.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yes, I hear it all the time from creepy guys sending me DMs.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I bet she does. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I bet all those actresses get that shit. Like
Yeah.
even the ones that are older now, I guarantee they do.
They do.
That's
They do.
hilarious.
It's sad, I could see why a lot of them are dicks and why a lot of them were dicks to me in the beginning until they got to know me. I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, especially being a woman. Because you got to understand what they probably dealt with. I deal with shit and I'm a nobody. I can just imagine what they deal with.
I used to do a whole stand-up routine about it. Oh my God. Where I was saying, you go to these autograph shows and there's these girls, there's these guys telling these girls that, they used to jerk off to them when they were, kids and stuff. And I'm like, imagine if Phoebe Cates, went through that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No wonder she doesn't even act or anything anymore, does she?
No, she's in hiding. She wouldn't do the conventions.
I don't blame her because that was a big deal. Like they were always mentioning that scene. That's like the top, how many scenes they talk about from like 80s films.
It's the most paused.
She's gotta be so sick of that.
It was the most paused scene of like any VHS tape that had tracking on it.
I think you're right because I watched when they talk about the sexiest scenes and women from 1980s movies. The bikini scenes and all that. Like the Friday the 13th one? What's her name in the blue bikini? I know her name. It just slipped my mind.
Tracy Savage. Is it her?
Yes, I think so. Didn't she end up become? She went to school for something.
She's a journalist. Yeah.
That's right.
I had her on this past spring. It wasn't very enjoyable. She was very serious, very professional. She steamrolled over some of my jokes I made, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience for me, I'll have to say.
Yeah, you know what? When it comes to podcasts, you got to keep it fun. Because I've thought about doing them, but I'm just not a good orator. I just don't. I think I would bore people. I really do. And it needs to be fun. If they're going to listen to something like the radio, because that's kind of like what it is, they want to laugh and enjoy themselves.
I think you'd be good at it, though.
Maybe I'd have to get used to it. I'm not a good storyteller. I'm not good at my memory. Everything would have to be scripted for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless we start joking around about certain topics, that's a little different. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think I'm a good storyteller. My brother's a great storyteller. I'm not a good storyteller.
Yeah. The thing that drives me crazy about podcasting today, there's always a Zoom podcast on YouTube with like 3 or 4 guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're all rednecks in like small southern towns, and they spend about 30 minutes out of an hour just bullshitting, and the guest is like waiting to fucking ask to get asked questions.
Right.
I was just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Boring the hell out of your guest like this.
You know what you do? I like your podcast. You have a great voice too for podcasting. You really do, and a good attitude. You really do. You really do.
Somebody told me.
I'm surprised it's not. You haven't like really blown up. Like I know people know who you are, but I mean like really blown up. You got a great voice, and you're fun. You ask the right questions.
Thank you. Yeah, somebody told me in high school that I had a great radio voice, but I didn't know how to pursue it. And plus, I had seen Private Parts up to that point. I was just like, I don't want to go through what Howard went through and shit. So it's only natural.
Oh my God, I forgot about that movie. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. Oh my God. Right.
It's only.
I think you'd be.
Good.
If you expanded. Well, I guess you do. You do flashback stuff. You don't just do horror, do you?
I do everything in pop culture.
Right. See, I'm surprised you didn't blow up so more because you really put a lot of effort into your channel and your podcast.
I like staying where I am. It's better that way because otherwise you get a big head, and I do have periods where I have a big head, so I just don't want to get worse.
Hey, we all have them times where our head gets a little bigger than it should be.
Right.
And I thought you was getting ready to make a joke. Don't even. I was waiting for that gutter joke.
I'm very open about my small wee wee.
As soon as it came out, as soon as I said it, I thought, oh, he's going to say it.
No.
I thought I set myself up. But I think that's just, it's good to feel good about yourself every now and then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember Fatal Games?
That's when you start treating everybody like shit. What?
Do you remember Fatal Games?
Any what?
Fatal Games. Sally Kirkland, she's like the school nurse who's like killing all the track team members.
That sounds familiar. Was that real early 80s?
1984, but I think it was shot earlier than that.
That sounds familiar. Some of them didn't stick with me. Certain movies didn't. It's not that they weren't good. It's just what movies are circulating. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the Friday the 13th, that's always popping up. And those type of movies aren't always popping up. Like, people aren't always talking about them.
Well, in this movie...
But I do remember that.
In this movie, she gives Linnea a massage. This is like one of Linnea's earliest horror movies. And it's kind of a remake...
That's why it sounded... Yes, that's why it sounded familiar. Okay, I remember watching that years ago on Netflix for the first time.
It's kind of
okay.
It's kind of a remake of Graduation Day, another one that Linnea did before that. That's the
right.
one. That's the one where she gets killed in the woods.
Right. Do you remember Netflix like years and years ago, like 2010 or 11?
Yeah.
They actually had decent old school horror movies on there.
They did, and then Tubi came along, and now they're all on Tubi.
Yeah, Netflix, most of the stuff they put on there is so mainstream, and most of it sucks.
Yes, I agree.
It really does. Hulu's getting that way, too, when they were... God, they haven't even been around that long. When they first came out, they had some good stuff on there. Now they're doing the same thing. They're getting way too big, and they're taking all the good stuff off.
Yeah, I agree. And then Linnea did this other one around that time called The Black Room. It's what's her name from Conan the Barbarian? Cassandra Gava. She and this guy, they're like brother and sister, and they're like they have like an Airbnb that caters to traveling businessmen who are married, and not only do they get to stay in their Airbnb, but they also get to live cuck fantasies and stuff. It's really weird. And Linnea plays...
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's on YouTube. Linnea plays the babysitter of one of their kids, and she doesn't talk. But she does scream though. She does her trademark scream, but she doesn't have any lines. Yeah.
That is probably why I haven't seen it. Some of her real old stuff that I remember I Googled, and it's almost impossible to find it, even on like YouTube.
Yeah.
Like there was another one they named her in, and what was it? This is a long time ago. I couldn't find it anywhere. But it's when she was, the one I've never seen was the first time she was in a role where I think it was the late 70s, and the guy like pours beer all over her like she's naked, like this crazy guy. I still haven't gotten to see that one.
That's Don't Go. It's one of those Don't Go titles. I've interviewed the director. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still have not gotten to see that. I've seen clips and I've seen stills, but I've never seen the movie.
There's a brutal rape scene in that movie that takes place in a van. What's her name?
Oh,
Tammy Taylor, who's turned me down multiple times. I loved her in Meatballs Part 2. She gets raped in like the van by all these guys and stuff while the van is being driven. Yeah, it's brutal.
what? Yeah, that's probably why it's so hard to find.
Yeah.
Or that, or it's just old. Yeah, I've never seen. I seen that. Speaking of rape movies like that,
Don't Go Near the
we
Park.
talked about this before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Don't Go Near the Park. That I think that was the name.
Yeah.
But the what is it? There's not too many movies my dad didn't let me watch. I think we talked about this one the last time. Was that Spit on Your Grave?
Yes.
The original. That movie was wow. That was something. I remember I didn't watch that till I was way older. Like on my own, I watched. I was like, now I see why my dad did not watch this one with us.
It's
because it had a lot of gore, but it was not your normal horror movie. It was, yeah. It wasn't something you'd want to sit down and watch with your kids.
Here's one that doesn't hold up. Joel Reed's Bloodsucking Freaks.
What? That sounds familiar.
It's a magic show, and the magician brutalizes women, like pulling out their teeth and doing all these horrible things to them. It does not hold up. And I'm a guy who can tolerate a lot, but when I watch this movie, I go, Joel Reed must have really hated women. And I almost interviewed him, but he died of COVID, so I never got inside his head.
Oh, you know what? That movie sounds familiar, but if I watched it, it sounds like I'd remember it.
Yeah.
Was it that brutal?
Yeah, very brutal, and it's also it's kind of I wouldn't say a rip-off, but it's kind of a continuation of Herschel Gordon Lewis's The Wizard of Gore.
Yeah, I've heard of that one and haven't seen it. See, you keep naming these movies, and I know what they are, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah, what's his name? Ray Sager, who later produced like Prom Night and the sequels and Terror Train and all that stuff. He plays the wizard.
Yes, I've seen those.
He's the Wizard of Gore, and he's a strange guy. I had him on a few years ago, and just he went on and on about what a genius Herschel Gordon Lewis was and all this stuff.
How old was that Herschel Gordon?
Let's see, the movie was 1970. He died like 8 years ago or something, at 90.
Oh, okay. So he lived into old age. Okay.
Oh yeah, he was making movies all the way up until his death too.
Well, what's his name from? God, I thought he'd live a little longer, even though he was getting up there. Clue.
Clue Gallagher.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was getting up there, but he was still doing movies, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, it's funny. He got into horror movies later because he was a Western guy for like most of his career, leading up to Return of the Living Dead and then Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Yeah.
What was it? Beast. I remember seeing that, and he was a little older at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was Beast. Isn't that the name of the movie, or am I naming that wrong?
I can look it up, but
that alien thing that pops up and he starts like killing everybody in the bar. I thought it was called Beast. I could be wrong.
Let me look it up here. Yeah, because
it had like 2 or 3.
He played a bad guy in a Chuck Norris movie called A Force of One. He did this one slasher movie. I'm actually going to be talking to somebody from it this week. The Initiation.
What year was that one? Because that sounds familiar.
1984. Daphne Zuniga is the star.
I think I've seen that one too.
Let's see.
That one sounds familiar.
Let's see. There was... Feast is what you're talking about.
Feast. That's what it was. Feast.
Yeah.
I like those movies. The last one kind of annoyed me. But the first 2 I didn't mind.
I never saw them.
I think there was... The first one was good. It was really gory. They had some decent actors in it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't... Every time I try to think of a name, it leaves my head because I'm talking to somebody about it. When I hang up, it'll all rush me at once.
Yeah.
I remember renting that when it first came out, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I was like bummed about certain people in the movie dying, but I thought the first one was actually really good. That's around the same time, Hatchet came out.
Yeah, I was
pleasantly surprised with that one.
I started to check out of horror by 2005 for a decade because I I thought they were just getting to be too brutal. Now, as I look back, they were actually
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. But now, in the last decade, I am just disgusted by how bad horror has gotten.
Oh, I know. You know what? You're not wrong. There has been so many movies that have somebody has suggested, and everybody's raving about it. I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and then I'm like, really? This is what everybody was talking about watching. Are you
Yeah.
serious? And I don't say anything because people take it personal, like they made the movie themselves.
Yeah.
So I always keep my opinion about these movies to myself. Like I don't like give my review on them. You've seen how mad people get about it. I think we talked about that the last time too. How angry people get. You would think they made the damn movie.
Like the other day.
Like how dare you say that about that movie?
Like the shit you were going through the other day on Facebook.
Oh my God, that guy! I honest to God barely know him. He is insane.
I know.
He went crazy. And you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
He left everything great I said about them out of those. He took those little pieces, which they weren't that bad.
Yeah.
And posted them. And I'm like, dude, really? You psychopath.
Did you read what I wrote?
No, because when I went to delete everything, it would have reposted it if I wanted to read the comments. I'm like, God damn it, what did you say?
I said, when you see your mom naked, do you get a wooder?
Have you seen his page? Like, nobody reacts to this loser. He liked his own post. He has set no reactions at all to any of his posts.
I think he's AI. I seriously think so.
And then he made this, he did this one post. He had sent me before I had to block him, because I'm sorry, the way he was attacking her on his page.
Yeah.
He went from my page to attacking her on his page, and I'm like, you know what? No, there's something not right with this guy. No. But anyway, he had sent me some painting of this cute blonde, and like all you could see, like her breasts are covered by the window pane or whatever. Yeah. So he's like, oh, I thought of you when I saw this or whatever. So he posts that on his page like it's me, talking about this is why I only show my tits and not my stumpy legs. I'm like, dude, that is not an insult. That woman in that painting is very attractive. It's not me, but that's not an insult. What are you doing? Like, he is insane.
Yeah. He
was going on and on and on and on. Oh my God.
Sad. Do you remember Boarding House?
What is it?
Boarding House, 1982. This guy, he is an enigma. I don't know whatever happened to him. Like, literally, there's no information. His name was John Wintergate. He wrote, starred, and directed this movie, and he had all these Playboy playmates in it. And it's a pretty entertaining little supernatural.
You know what? That sounds familiar. I think I've heard about it. I don't remember ever watching it. The Playmate thing is what's standing out to me. Because I could have sworn I remember people talking about that one from the 80s.
Yeah.
Was it like bad or?
Yeah, a bad supernatural slasher kind of a flick.
Those are the best. The low budget with bad makeup and bad acting, I swear. Those are... You have to sit down and enjoy those and just laugh. It's like Ron Jeremy's films. He was putting out some of them horror movies. Those are just so bad. But you gotta watch. Because they're just that bad. Do you remember when he was doing that? Like putting out these horror films?
I never saw them, but I used to see him walk around Monsterpalooza every year. And I actually interacted with him once.
So horrible.
Yeah.
I heard he's a nice guy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
That Ron Jeremy.
Oh, yeah. I was walking with McCain because I was recovering from my car accident at the time. And he said, hey, man, you don't have to stand there. You come sit over here. I'm about to leave. And I was like, oh, thank you, Mr. Jeremy. You know.
Aw. Yeah, I've heard he's a real nice guy. Obviously, I don't watch a lot of the movies he's originally starred in. That's not my thing.
Oh,
but when he started...
His dick is overrated.
What?
His dick is overrated. It's not that big. Yeah.
Yeah, believe me, I've seen clips. You can't be on the internet and not. Yeah. But obviously, when he started doing the horror movies and all that, everybody was talking about going and seeing him, and everybody's talking about what a really nice guy he was. So, I mean, that's all I've ever heard about him. If somebody had a bad experience, I haven't heard about it.
Yeah. Do you remember, God, what was it? Oh, Dream Maniac?
I remember that one. That sounds really familiar.
Yeah,
I think I do. Yeah.
David Dakota made it. It's about a succubus, just invading all these men and women's dreams. Now, the main girl, I interviewed her a few years ago, Laura Peterson. She was cute as a button in that movie. Now she's got short hair. She's butch. She's an out lesbian, and she's doing the pronouns thing and doing activism of trans and whatnot. And I'm just like, oh God, she's a sweet lady though, very sweet.
Yeah. The problem, it seems like, though, when they start doing that activism stuff, which I think she probably believes most of them believe it's a good cause or whatever, I don't.
Yeah.
But that trans thing for kids, I don't care about adults, I'm talking about kids.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either. I don't either.
It's like, I support the gay community until they start involving kids. That's my only problem. Like,
yeah.
I follow that Gays Against Groomers and all that because they're trying to stop that.
Yes.
It's ran by gay people. And they try to stop the sexualization of kids. So what they're doing is a good thing. So
yes.
But anyway, it seems like when people switch over to that side, like really get into it, they kind of turn into jerks.
They do, because I think that some of them are blind and they're looking at the good cause part of it, but they're not really like reading between the lines and stuff. And like you try to tell them this, and they just don't want to hear it.
No, they automatically call you a bigot. Or a racist, or it's insane to me. That's why I stopped posting any political stuff on my page, just because I didn't like the arguments it was causing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even when it was other people arguing under the post, I'm like, you know what? I'm not posting this stuff anymore. People's going to believe what they want to believe, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good people that seem like they've switched and turned into a complete nut job about politics. Right, on the right, too, not just the left. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, of course, everybody remembers Cannibal Holocaust because animals died in the making of this film.
Oh, right. That was a pretty vulgar one, too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wait, is that the one they remade? Because I don't think I've watched that one yet, the remake.
They probably did. I haven't seen it. But, like, I know a late-night horror show that we had in the Bay Area called Coffee Creepy Movie Time. And they did a promo where they were gonna show the movie on their network, and they were gonna have it all chopped up and what have you. Well, somebody when the trailer was on Facebook, somebody who knew the people, the copyright holders, got a hold of this, and they got a cease and desist letter. They couldn't show Cannibal Holocaust all chopped up on their show.
What?
Yeah.
That is insane. Why do people have to ruin everything? What was the reason for it? Like, what was the big deal? Why didn't they want it?
Because I don't know if they went through all the channels or not, because I think it was in the public domain when they thought that they could show it, and then next thing you know, it wasn't anymore. You know, one of those kind of things.
See, people ruin good stuff for people.
Yeah.
What jerks? Yeah, that was if it was going to be, if some of the bad scenes were going to be cut out, I don't see what the big deal was anyway.
I have no idea. But Canada made a lot of good slasher movies. Funeral Home, Happy Birthday to Me, Deadly Eyes, Curtains.
Oh yes.
Deadly Eyes is more of a deadly rat kind of a movie, but still, you know. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember all those. I was trying to think. There was another one I couldn't think of it earlier when I was going to write it down.
Murder by Phone.
There's one. What?
You remember Murder by Phone?
What was that one about?
It's about people picking up the phone and then getting, you know, this scary voice and dying out of fear that the person's going to be invading their home. And what's her name? Lenore Zann from all the Canadian slasher movies, some I just mentioned, she has a Mickey Mouse phone. You know those old school Mickey Mouse telephones? It's so cool. I wish I had one. She dies from a Mickey Mouse telephone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's hilarious. Yeah. I was trying to find some real old ones that weren't mainstream, but I think everything I like, that's what's so sad. Everything I like is just mainstream stuff. I think everybody knows all them 80s films I like.
Let's see. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, it's like when you Google anything,
Mm-hmm.
like, because I know there's some that I can't remember the name of. You get one of the movies in your head and you seen it when you was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and you just cannot for the life of you remember the name. You don't even remember the actors, but that movie's stuck in your head and you want to find it so bad. I have several movies like that from my childhood. I'll put in the description everything, and I just cannot find them. I'm probably remembering it wrong because I was so little when I watched them, but
Slime
yeah, I
City.
don't. What's that?
Slime City.
What was that one?
Gregory Lamberson. It's about. It was about. I'm trying to remember. It was about a guy who gets nuclear infected, and he turns into this slimy kind of creature thing.
That one doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah.
The only thing that's popping in my head as soon as you said slime was that Blob movie from the remake in the 80s.
Yeah.
That one popped in my head as soon as you said slime. And that movie, The Stuff.
That
was a crazy movie.
Love The Stuff. I have a stuffed cup signed by Larry Cohen and Lorraine Landon and Paul Sorvino. Larry was selling them the last 2 years he was alive at conventions, and I got one from the last batch. I was so fucking happy. It's my most prized possession, I'll tell you.
The Stuff.
Yeah.
Does it look like it looked like a marshmallow or something like that?
It was supposed to be like a frozen yogurt, but it looked like a marshmallow. Yeah, but I just have the cup, and I got it signed. It's just my most prized possession. I love it.
That's awesome. I liked that movie. That's one of the movies I liked in the 80s. I don't think that's one of those I don't think everybody liked, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ghoulies. Not everybody liked the Ghoulies.
It's a very small esoteric following.
Right. Because it's not like super scary. It's creepy and it's nasty, but it's not like super scary or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody started getting on board with them. We've talked about this before too, the slasher films, the Friday the 13th, the Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Sleepaway Camp, all those people started getting on board with those. I think a lot of those was getting made in the early to mid 80s. There was a lot of them, and then they just started rolling over into the 90s.
How about the heavy metal
it's
horror?
Like people stopped making good werewolf movies and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How about the heavy metal horror movies? Rocktober Blood, Black Roses.
Trick or Treat in that one.
Trick or Treat. I love Trick or Treat. I've had
that was a good one.
I've had Skippy on, from Family Ties. He's in it.
Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned you had him on the show before.
Yeah.
See, Trick or Treat was what was the other one? It's what's her name's in it? I know her freaking name.
In Trick or Treat?
No, it's another one kind of like that. He sells his. I know the name of it. It's just not coming to me. He sells his soul to become a musician, and he wakes up, and all these other people, like these rock goddesses, they sold their souls.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, what's her name? Karen.
Oh yes.
What's her name? Shit! It's just not coming to me. She was in Vice Academy. What's her name?
Yes. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, she was in. That's not one of the mainstream ones, but I liked it.
Yeah.
You remember what movie I'm talking about? I can't remember the freaking name.
It's not Ginger Lynn, of course. Elizabeth Caton.
That name sounds familiar.
Oh yeah, she was in.
Which one was she in?
She was in Vice Academy, and she was in one of the night. She was on one of the Friday the 13th movies.
Oh right. Okay, right. Now it's going to bother me. I can't remember the name of that movie. I can't even find it to buy. I usually know the name. It's just I thought too fast. It's got who else? You've seen the actor before that plays the rock star that sold his soul or whatever. He goes to this like voodoo lady to do it, and I know you know which one I'm talking about.
You sure it's not Trick or Treat? Because it sounds like it.
No, it sounds like it, but it's not. It's what is the name of this one? I know the name. It's just not coming to me. I'll have to text it to you when we get off the phone.
Okay.
It's just not coming to me because I've looked it up to buy it. I can't find it.
Yeah. Dario Argento did a horror movie in the early 70s, and there's a rock band in it. And even though they're not heavy metal, that's where heavy metal horror seed was planted, I think. Because then Terror on Tour came in 1980, and they're like a Kiss style, white-faced makeup kind of rock band. And the Soup Nazi from Seinfeld plays their manager.
I don't think I've seen that one. If I have, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's great.
I do remember a lot of the heavy metal movies, though. I do. I liked a lot of them.
Oh, remember Hard Rock Zombies?
Yes, actually, I do remember that one. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I do remember that one.
I've talked to, what's her name, Crystal Martell, who was the blonde in it. I've talked to her. She's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Is she pretty nice?
She is. She's a little crazy, though. The lead singer of the band, I've interviewed him, E.J. Curse. He had a band called Silent Rage that Gene Simmons discovered. And by the time he discovered them, hair metal was on its way out. Like, they spent 15 years, like, playing the clubs in L.A. and just had no luck getting signed. Yeah.
How long ago was she on your show?
Crystal Martell. That was 2018. That was, like, right at the beginning.
Wow, you got a great memory.
I remember
I can barely remember some of their names. All the names from all these movies. I can barely remember some of these older movies. Like, because the actresses and stuff didn't really catch on. You're great at remembering the names.
I'm like
I have to Google.
I'm like Tarantino. He's that way too. He can remember the names of those actresses that didn't catch on in like 70s exploitation movies.
See, I couldn't do that. I'd have to Google it. There's no way. I don't think I have the best memory anyway. So
yeah,
it's getting worse as I get older. I was trying to think of another movie. Oh, did we talk about that movie? What was it? Demon Wind? Was that the name? That's another one I liked.
Demon Wind. I gotta look that up.
I think it might be called Demon Wind. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's called Demon Wind or something.
How about Warlock?
Like oh Lord, those were bad. Was there a part 3?
I just remember 2.
I think there was a part 3 of that.
I just remember 2 of them.
There may be a part 3. I could be wrong though.
Wow, how come I never saw? I never saw Demon Wind. Wow, I don't even know anybody who's in it.
That is one of those. Some people know it and some people don't. Yeah. I don't know. That one stuck with me from when I was a kid. I actually tried to buy that one online and I can only find the person wanted way too much. I haven't checked in a while though. I'm gonna have to check again.
Yeah.
That's just one of those nostalgia stuck with me movies. It was kind of weird, but the effects weren't too bad. So
yeah. This month on Halloween October, I'm going to deep dive like Phantasm, Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
those were good.
Silent Madness, hopefully the Amityville Horror, and I like to do the anniversary deep dives. I just did the one with the little boy from It's Alive. I had him on earlier today, Daniel Holzman, and I'm going to be dropping that as soon as we're done.
Oh, awesome! Oh, you're constantly making podcasts to edit and post, aren't you?
Always, yeah. I mean, when you got like half of a leg from a car accident, there's nothing else to do. I mean, yeah. It's been a saving grace.
Like, did you seriously only have half a leg?
I call it half a leg because there's a lot of metal in it because I broke my leg in 7 places when I had my accident.
Oh my God.
So like I have a cane.
What year did you have your accident? If you don't mind me asking.
It's going to be 10 years in January, so 2015.
It sounds like it was bad.
It was
really bad.
I've got a scar that starts in the middle of my torso that ends like right past my belly button. It was that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Was it like one of those you barely survived car accidents?
I was in a coma for 30 days.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That is crazy. I bet your parents lost it.
They did. I mean,
my God.
I could see now how it's worn and torn on them. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just.
And you were young too, so wow! Yeah, oh my God!
31 and a half. I was. It was just, God. It was just a saving grace, is what it was.
Oh my! Yeah, it sounds like you're lucky to be alive. I've been fortunate. I've never been in a bad accident. I've been in a fender bender. I've never been in a knock on wood. I have never been in any bad accidents. I know a few people that have. Like, one of my old friend's sister was in a real bad one. They didn't think she was going to walk, and she was able to walk. They had to put pins in her back and all kinds of shit. So yeah, that's. And she said the same thing. She doesn't remember it. I think she was in a coma for 3 months. Actually, my brother-in-law was in a coma. I can't believe I didn't think about that. Yeah, this is years ago when my husband was a kid.
Wow.
his accident was so bad he was knocked into the back seat.
Wow.
And Dad was supposed to be with him. And for some reason he didn't that day, and the whole side of the car Dad would have been on was completely crushed. It had killed him. God. So God was looking out for him that day because he'd been in that car. It had killed him. It had killed Dad.
In 2019,
his brother was in a coma.
In 2019, I went to this place in LA called Dearly Departed Tours. It barely exists anymore because partially because of the pandemic, but it's like a place that's dedicated to celebrities who died tragic deaths in Hollywood. And my friend Terry Bolo, who was one of the bitches in the original Carrie, she worked there in the memorabilia shop. And I went to go visit her. And I went into the museum and I saw Jane Mansfield's car that was completely totaled. Like, they own it. Like, the actual car.
Oh, wow.
They owned it. And I got fucking PTSD fucking looking at that shit. And she's like, oh, I am so sorry. I should have told you about that. I was like, no, it's okay. It's just like, wow.
Right.
It hit me like a ton of bricks when I saw that shit.
Oh, I bet it did. So the car you was in was... Can I ask... I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what happened? Like, do you remember what happened in the accident?
That whole fucking week leading up to it was ominous. My best friend died in a car crash around Thanksgiving time of 2014. And I lost it. I didn't want to live anymore. I was drinking hard.
Right.
I mean, shit was just awful. And like...
Right.
This particular day was a Monday. It was fucking or Tuesday or something like that. It was fucking ominous, and like I just had this weird gloomy feeling, and like I had a decision not to go with this guy that I thought was my friend at the time and go up to the city and hang out at the strip bar that we were always going to. I had a decision to go or not go, and I chose to go. And like we got fucked up, and then like he fell asleep at the wheel, I fell asleep in the passenger seat, and we just wound up in the middle of the road.
Oh my God! So what, did another oncoming car hit you?
Yeah. So like long after the crash happened, these guys that just got off work at In-N-Out Burger, they were like two 20-year-olds. And they just they didn't see the car, and they just freaking crashed, totaled it, and we got the worst of the I got the worst of the injuries. You know, I think they hit their heads. They got like a little bit of a concussion, but that was about it.
Oh, thankfully a bunch of people didn't get hurt. I mean, thank God you're all right.
Yeah.
Now, wow. What, did your friend get in trouble?
Oh yes, big trouble, but it didn't last long, and so. We ended our friendship, you know, because of this, because he lied to the cops and said that I was driving and that I was some stranger he met in a bar. He's a piece of shit, this guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, did he think he was going to die and he was just going to get away with it, or what?
Yeah, his parents kind of have money, so...
What a fucking douchebag.
Big time.
Like, oh, well, I'll just blame it on him. He's in a coma anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, at least you know, I mean, you found out the hard way he ain't your fucking friend. What a fucking douche.
It pisses me off. But here I am, though, and I'm so lucky.
Right. Oh, my God. Did you even know where you were when you woke up?
I knew I was in the hospital, but, like, I didn't know, like, what happened. The last thing I remembered was getting out of the car after the crash, because I completely blacked out, so... Yeah, and I blacked out again when the crash happened. I had no memory of it. Otherwise, I would have gotten off the highway, you know.
That is insane. Well, thank God you're all right. I don't mean to be so nosy. That is, oh my God, that's so scary.
No, that is scary. I've been talking about it since day one, so you're not nosy. Don't worry about it.
Okay. It's like, I always ask because it's like, you know, it's got to be like weird waking up, like, especially 30 days later, like not knowing... Just laying there in bandages and everything. It's like, what the fuck?
It's weird. I mean, you get very delusional under anesthesia. You start seeing things that aren't there, and if they are there, it's just really, really weird. It's the worst.
Right. Did they have to sedate you, or was you already on pain meds?
They had me on meds.
Because I'd be freaking out if I woke up. I mean, my opinion, I'd be freaking out if I woke up and had no clue where I was in a hospital bed.
Yeah, I didn't need sedation. Not that it wasn't that bad. So.
Right. Oh my goodness. That would just, I mean, I'd be thankful to be alive, but that would be insane to just, a whole month went by. And what'd you have to do? Rehabilitation and stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I had to do all that shit. It was insane. Insane.
How long did it take you to get better, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, to get my strength back and walk, it took me a good year, I would say. Um,
Oh,
and
wow.
and all that stuff. I remember 6 months after I got out of the hospital, I had to have my gallbladder taken out because I had
Hmm.
I had gallstones and everything. And
Right.
here's a dirty story for you. The guy who was the male nurse taking care of me, right? He was a real cutie,
Hmm.
and you could tell he was gay. You could just tell, and he
Hmm.
was so cute. On Sunday, which is the day that I left the hospital,
Hmm.
he took the catheter out of me, and I shit you not, I
Hmm.
ejaculated.
Oh, seriously?
Yes,
Uh, were you embarrassed?
I was, but like he said, wow. And then he gave me like, a box of Kleenex, and I didn't see him for the next 2 hours that I was there. I had
Oh my
someone else.
God.
Yeah, the true story.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. That's so funny,
It is
though.
funny. It is
And
funny.
again, let me remove your catheter. Oh my.
Yeah.
That is insane. I mean, well,
Yes.
thank God you're all right.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I'm just always curious. Anybody in a coma, like, I always ask questions like, do you remember anything from it at all? Do you? Do you
Yeah.
remember like any dreams, anything like that, or it doesn't work like that?
I had all sorts of weird fucking dreams, like during the anesthesia process. That was
Mm-hmm.
just fucking bizarre. I had a dream. It may very well have happened too, but I don't know it. I had all these like male nurses around me, and I'm watching a kung fu movie
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't fucking end. I remember it just kept going and going. This fight wouldn't fucking end, you know.
That's so crazy. Because I know that I don't know about, I've asked people who, they said they don't remember. But I always wonder, like, can you dream when you're in a coma? Do you remember the dreams? But I guess if you woke up during your anesthesia, you might
Yeah.
remember something. Like it's going to stick, you know?
Right.
It's like when I've had dental work done, I remember bits and pieces, you
Yeah.
know?
So
That's funny.
today is Michelle's birthday, Michelle Bauer.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And she got my birthday
Oh,
card yesterday. She got my card and she loved it.
she's so sweet. She's got an old she's got an account she made a long time ago, a Facebook account. She doesn't
Uh,
do much with it, but it was so sweet of her. She got on Facebook just to join her tribute groups. She
oh,
joined my group
I
and the
gotta
other
find
one.
her. I
So
I gotta find her.
it's like, well, she's got like 4 friends. I don't think she's ever on there. I checked with Alan. I'm like, is this really? Because she used her maiden name
Yeah.
on her account. So
Hmm.
I'm like, this can't be her. So I asked Alan. I was like, no, it's her. He sent her a friend request that she didn't respond, so she's probably back offline. But
Hmm.
yeah, she's under. It looks like a fake account, but it's her. There's no profile picture. She's got 4 friends. It's Michelle McClellan. How do you say her last name? McClellan?
McClellan. McClellan.
Yeah, McKellen. Okay, McClellan.
That's her
It's
married
under that
name.
name if you want to search it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's her married name.
Oh, I thought that was her maiden name
No,
because I thought she wasn't.
I can't pronounce her. I can't remember her maiden name offhand, but it's Croatian, and I'm Croatian too, so that's probably one of the reasons why we get along.
Oh, see, I thought. Because I know she was like her ex fought her on using the name Bauer.
Bauer was the first
So she
husband's
went.
name. Yeah,
Okay. So she went back to McClellan, and then she won
McClellan.
and started going by Bauer again, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, she is so sweet. I hope
Yeah.
she comes back this way soon. So
I hope.
you're Croatian. That's what you said,
Yeah, Croatian on my dad's side.
and she is too. That's funny.
Yeah,
She is super sweet.
I think her mother was Mexican.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She does got like a kind of an olive color skin like I do. So
Yeah.
super nice too. I hope she comes this way again too.
I got to meet her in person too. It's been way too long. It's just like I haven't been to LA in 5 years. I need to go by next year. It's been way too long.
No, she's privileged. She's married now, right?
Yes.
Okay. She's very personal. The only thing I knew about anything that goes on now is just little things Brink told me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, I guess he's not like a huge fan of her doing the cons, but she does them, and like she didn't make it sound like a dick or anything. She just said from what she can gather. So
yeah, I know.
I wish she would be more social online. That would be awesome. She'd see all the love she has out there.
Yeah, she she gets bored talking about her career and stuff, which is only natural that we did that sex podcast that you listened to.
Right. That was fun. That was awesome. She's awesome. She's got to get sick of that, though, especially from her adult career. She's got to have some weirdos bothering her.
Oh yeah, she does. So did you go to a con recently?
Oh yeah. That Storm Spell. I went, and you know what? By the time we got there, a lot of people had already packed up and left, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
And then, so the only people we really got to see was the cast from Night of the Demons, Amelia, Hal, and Alvin.
Yeah.
So, and Hal he was so sweet. He didn't even charge me for anything. I had all intentions of paying.
He's a sweet guy.
He didn't charge me a dime.
He
it's really funny. He's so nice.
Before he started his Facebook account, I got the interview with him through Beatrice Bupley, and he was great. He told me how much he loved John Belushi and stuff, and it was a great talk. It was a really great talk.
You know what? I started to listen to that and didn't finish. I got to get back on there and finish that.
Oh yeah.
I got sidetracked doing something. What I like to listen, like your podcast and other podcasts, when I go on my walks. It usually takes me about 45 minutes to get around.
Oh.
But when I started that one, I was home and I was cleaning, and then something happened. I got to finish that one actually.
That's so sweet.
But yeah, he's super sweet. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say he even commented under that idiot's post before I removed it.
Oh yeah, I saw him. He was like the first one to comment, I think.
That's what Nicole told me. Like I said, I didn't even get to read the comments because I wanted to hurry up and get that out of there. I didn't want to chase people to start leaving the group. So yeah, I didn't even get to read it. But Nicole told me, she's like, "Yeah, Hal jumped to your rescue and blah 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 and so and all you guys." So that was awesome. But yeah, he's a sweet guy.
Yeah, so like I skipped Sinister Creature Con back in June because my friend that I usually go with is super busy, and I might be skipping the next one in a couple of weeks. I would love to go to meet Sandy Johnson because she's been on the podcast twice, and Robin Lively, the Teen Witch, is going to be there. I've never met her or anything. I'd love to go meet them.
I've never met her either.
But my friend is just like, and I have no other means of transportation, sadly. But hopefully I'll get to. Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm going. I don't know if I'm. I don't know if I'm making it to the one I wanted to this month. I am going to that Skyline Drive-In in Indiana. They're chainsaw hookers, Hollywood chainsaw hookers. Hold on, my throat's getting dry. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, one of the movies they're playing, and John Henry Richardson's going to be there. I think Olin Ray's going to be there. It's like a 2-night thing, and it's real affordable. So I'm going to go do that.
I love that movie.
Hopefully I get to go to the Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. That is, I don't care what anybody says. I've seen people make fun of it. I don't care. I love that movie. There is so much comedy in that movie. I love it.
Yes.
So you gotta love Michelle in that movie.
Yeah, that thing was a saving grace for Gunnar Hansen because up to that point he had just been known as Leatherface, and he needed like a career comeback. He needed to make a comeback and stuff, and that really saved him, which was great.
And I was so bummed I didn't get to meet him
Me
before
neither.
he passed away.
Me neither. I never got to meet him.
Everybody's like, he's super cool, he's super nice, blah, blah, blah. And they do. A lot of them keep passing away before I get a chance to meet them.
Yeah.
Who was another one that's getting old that I got to meet before they stopped? Oh, Chris Renan. I did see him years back in 2017, but like I said, we forgot our freaking debit card and had very little cash.
Uh-huh.
It was only like an hour and a half away, but it was that Horror Hound weekend thing, and I couldn't get his autograph. So he's getting up there, and I'd like to get his autograph before he stops doing all these cons.
Yeah.
So that was actually a good convention, and I went in there so pissed that he forgot our debit card. I was pissed. I couldn't believe it.
I met him.
And all we had was a little bit of cash on us. I did get one autograph. That was it.
I met Chris Arenda in 2019, right? I was a little nervous because I had heard all these stories about him being a diva on movie sets and he was a holy terror and all this. And then when I met him, he was the sweetest guy ever. I told him I thought he was...
That's what I said.
Yeah. I thought he was he's the greatest all-American actor, I told him. Greatest living American actor. And he said, "Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that."
Aw. I heard he's really nice.
Yeah.
I know he was a big, you know what was crazy? I didn't know until I had gotten older and read something about it that he was actually married to that Susan Sarandon.
And then he married Joanna Gleason, who I'm going to be interviewing soon.
Oh, is he married to her now or no?
He's been married to her for a long time, like 30 years, I want to say.
Okay, I thought so. Okay. Because sometimes they're wrong. You'll get on there and they'll say their spouse, and then you hear, no, they're not even married. You know what I mean? Like, they don't change it and update it. But, yeah, I definitely... You think you'll ever be able to get him on your show?
I don't know. I mean... He's answered every
That'd be
question.
A fun listen.
He's answered every question a million times about everything he's done. So I don't know. I try to stay away from those kind of actors, but like, who knows?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Who knows? I mean,
I get it. Yeah.
If I have a good experience with Joanna and she says, "Hey, you want to talk to Chris?" I'll say yes. But like, I'm not seeking him out, is what I'm saying. You know.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Like the same questions over and over and over, they get repetitive. So
yeah, I wish I had known that in the beginning. God, everything that I had to learn, the hard way. But at least I've done it. I can say.
Right. Well, you got to do it to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's cool you do it. I'd be too seriously. Even as nice as some of these people are, I get really nervous talking to them.
Yeah.
So. I don't think I'd even be able to have the balls to ask him to come on a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you got to be persistent sometimes.
Oh yeah, all the time. It drives me crazy. It drives them crazy too. But at least I've developed relationships in the business where they can talk to people who can vouch for me and stuff. So I'm lucky on that end. I had Dee Dee Pfeiffer come back on last week. Right,
She seems sweet.
I
gotta listen to that one.
Okay, we'll listen to both of them because they're both great. But in the second one we did, 32 minutes in, our Instagram Messenger call started getting weird. And then when we reconnected after about 2 minutes, she told me that she had to go in 7 minutes. So I had to wrap everything up. So there's like a flow for 32 minutes. And then all of a sudden we start talking about what she's got going on today. And it comes off a little abruptly weird that way. But that's what happened. But
right.
But I told her some dirty jokes that she laughed out loud, thought were funny, and stuff. I mean, she's like one of those chicks you could have locker room talk with. She's awesome.
She seems that. I follow her on Instagram, and she's got the most positive posts, and she's a sweet person. You can just tell she's a fun person.
She is.
Like, it's not an act. There's something about her, like, I guess you call it aura. Something about this. She just seems like a really nice person, a good person.
She is.
Some people just come off that way,
She is. I can tell.
Hopefully I get to meet her.
I do too. She actually seems a lot nicer than her sister.
Oh yeah, I forgot she is related to
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Wait, she is really related to her, right?
Yeah, they're 6 years apart in age.
Okay, see, I read that somewhere before, and then I always forget they're related. I always freaking forget.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And everybody knows her sister's name, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, I remember reading that and being shocked, and then forgetting, and reading it again and being shocked, and then you just reminded me again. I'm doubting myself. I'm like, wait a minute, it is Michelle, right?
Yeah. I got jokes for you.
Hopefully are. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. What kind of meat does a priest eat on Friday?
What?
None.
Give me another one. Tell me another one.
It's a nun pun. What does a redneck do for Halloween?
What?
Pumpkin.
What is it? Oh,
Pumpkin.
I get it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's funny. Actually, I might tell that one.
That's my favorite.
That's a good one.
That's my favorite.
Pumpkin.
My uncle
Pumpkin.
That
is a good one.
My uncle had a roommate who told me that, and he had like a front tooth missing, and when he told it, oh god, it was so funny. He had like a jack-o'-lantern smile.
I bet it was, because that was funny. That was funny. Hopefully our little podcast we did is that you don't have to cut too much out. I know I kind of got off track a lot today.
Oh no, everything's great.
It was almost like I was interviewing you. Like, how did you feel after your coma?
Oh, it's okay. People talk about it all the time. It's okay. You know, I've told a lot of actors in the last few years, though, I really want to focus on you, so I'm sending you my bio and stuff. Sometimes there'll be that one guy who doesn't care about the bio. They're like, okay, tell me more about that accident, you know?
Yeah. That's why I like, tell me more about you. This is about you. Use my best radio voice next time. We'll interview you.
Yeah. I've been interviewed on other podcasts. There's a few of them out there. This lady, Linda Marcus Smith, she's a very funny stand-up comedian who started doing stand-up later in life. She's in her 70s. I've done her podcast 3 times. It's on Zoom. It's on YouTube, and it's never the same story, never the same questions. It's just 3
you gotta send those to me.
Yes, the Linda Marcus show.
Send them to me.
I'll send them to you. They are funny. I show my belly button in one.
Look at my belly button. Did she touch it?
No, because she's on Zoom.
Oh, that's right, on Zoom.
No, we're not in the same room.
Thank you for having me on again. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming back. And I'll send you those links. And yeah, don't let those haters get you down. That fucking asshole that pissed me off the other day. And thank
you for having my back, too.
Of course, you're a great person. And you have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there. It's actually nighttime over there. It's going to be night pretty soon over here.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much. I hope we can do it again.
We will.
You bet. We better.
Okay.
All right. Bye, hon.
All right. Bye, hon. Well, there you have it. Colene Wingfield, ain't she a sweetheart? She is the booby prize. I frickin' love her. And yeah, we got to talk about my accident, which I stopped doing a long time ago, but I still enjoyed talking about it with her because she was genuinely curious, and I'm so glad we could do it. Looks like she forgot a lot about what horror movies she wanted to talk about, but at least I got to bring up, my stuff that I forgot to bring up last time. So it was a great chat. Really great chat. And happy birthday, Michelle Bauer. I love your boobs. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.